Hi everyone. Good evening. This is Maps Live. This is our fourth live here on our channel. The last one that we did was on my birthday on December 12th. And Maps is a company that continues to innovate and improve on our processes. And with that, we're delivering to you a new format of a live that we're able to do single microphone, one person, straight to camera. Why are we doing it this way? Because we're doing something a bit different for this week. This week, we're doing something we call Sincerely Maps. Sincerely Maps is going to be a series of videos, lives, that the intention is for you, our viewer, our partners out there to understand who are we as a company, why are we here, what are we doing, what are we capable of. And for today, let you understand how we got here. A bit of a backstory, maybe some we'll be sharing stories about where I came from, what the origin of the dream was, and a few years back of the look back of the different things that compounded to us getting to this point. But before that, I think we're going to share our Dear Dreamer video. So this is a video that we presented in October as a quick introduction to Maps, and you'll be seeing it for the next 4 days, and I hope it gives you a glimpse into who we are. Please cue the Dear Dreamer video.
Dear Dreamer, we are Maps, a team of creatives who dream of a world where everyone is free. Free to be,
Josh, no audio.
create, and manifest themselves as their truest,
We're having some
brightest,
technical
and best
difficulties
self.
as we...
Einstein once said, "Imagination is everything." It is the preview of life's coming attractions. We have seen how letting our imaginations fly, while at the same time working on making these dreams a reality, has allowed us to achieve more than we thought possible in the past few months. We dream of creating spaces where other dreamers and creatives are given the opportunity to find their voice and bring their visions to life, whether that be in music, food, performance, visual arts, or whatever you can think of that brings us closer to our dream of a beautiful future. Maps has been trying out different modes of creating and bringing together creatives from different fields and backgrounds. It's exciting, thrilling even, not knowing what the next day will bring and how we will all face it together as a team. Who will we meet along the way? What adventures will we get ourselves into? What new thing will we learn? It is our dream in Maps to lead the way in driving the creative spirit in each and every person to reawaken, grow, and be expressed in new and exciting ways. Join us on our journey as we explore and map out our bright, creative, and free future. From the Maps team.
Cool. So that's our introduction to Maps video. We created this video when we started the company in around October. So it's a compilation of footage that we've already done prior to formally becoming Maps. And I think today our intention is to share more of that story, our origin story, as we would say. So this is day one of Sincerely Maps. Maps, the origin story. So usually I do everything extemporaneous, I just wing it. But my TM and I put together a script, an outline of what they'd like me to cover and what we'd share with you today. I'm going to try to be as authentic and as vulnerable as I can muster for this video, because it will be a lot of my story. It will be a lot of where I came from, who I've met along the way, what challenges I've had. Because to get here, to get to where Maps is, it definitely was not an easy journey. It definitely was not a straight line. And as all stories go, many trials and tribulations, but in themselves, the trials and tribulations were what caused the change, caused the improvement, caused the growth. So, how does any story start? It's what is the beginning? Um, this one's quite interesting because I could start from, hey, I was born in 1988 and December 12th, whatever. That's my birthday. Sorry. Public information, my private information is now public. But let's start from when I actually started the dream, when I actually started having this vision of doing maps, which at the time I did not know, and then go into backstory for who I was before that point, so that you can understand. So the dream actually started in October 2020. So that was the year of the pandemic. During the pandemic, I had, if you've watched Field of Dreams, I had a Field of Dreams moment where I went downstairs from my apartment and was walking down a street to see a empty store. The empty store was fully decommissioned because of the pandemic. A lot of stores had closed, and this store had nothing in it. It really was didn't even have tiles, didn't have paint. Everything was dismantled. It was even boarded up with Manila paper. But one panel of the windows was empty. Was the Manila paper had fallen. So I walked downstairs, and another one thing led to the next. I got coffee, and I walked back, and it was a weird situation where the store is on the left side of the road, but many instances were pointing me to move to the right. There was someone cleaning the street. The floor was wet. There was a dog being walked. But I stayed on the path. I would just go around them and then go back onto the left side of the road instead of crossing the street. And all of a sudden, I had this urge to look through the window, look through the looking glass. And upon looking through the looking glass, you might say this is weird, but I had visions. I had a come to Jesus moment where I heard music, I saw dancing, I heard singing, I saw people having fun, communing, and just being themselves. It was a split second, but all of these were very, very significant images for me because it was basically the precursor to asking what was that. The moment in which I disrupted where I was moving forward to. So where was I at that point? It was the mid of the pandemic of the first year. I had actually just gotten promoted at work. So I was working for Shell at the time, and I had gotten my offer online to take on my new role, which was an international data privacy role. So, bit of background: I'm an accountant, I'm an auditor. I worked in data privacy for 2.5 years. I was I was a math nerd. I have a CPA and I graduated from UP. So it wasn't in my radar to think of doing something so highly experimental. I had gone down a path that was laid out for me, so to say. I graduated from a good university. I took a business degree. I graduated with honors. I moved into SGV, which is a typical accounting degree for freshmen and for newly graduated students. I did that for a year and then went to Shell, got into the management trainee program. Basically, to cut the long story short, I had the opportunities to have a bright and fruitful corporate career. But this was the moment that shook it all. This was the moment that made me ask the question, why? Why am I being given this dream? Literally, it felt like a dream while I was awake. I don't know if any of you have experienced that in the past, but it's very surreal. It feels like you're being pulled out of your body to see something that isn't there, that if you talk about it with other people, they would question your sanity. They would even joke that that's not real. That was just in your mind, Mick. And maybe it was just in my mind at the time. Maybe it was just me not sleeping, me being a little bit um down from the pandemic, not really knowing what was up, what was down. Every day was melting into each other. But I always look back on that day as when it started, when this disturbance in the force actually brought me, started the journey to get here. Um, it felt like me seeing a fork in the road and asking what's down that road. Because to the right was this career with Shell. Uh, I had just also been told that I wasn't going to lose my job. It was a um, restructuring year. Everyone was worried, and I was told, "Mick, you don't have to worry." And on the other side, there was this unknown. There was this glimmer of a dream, a glimmer of a feeling, and it just grew and grew. So the next few months just came and went as normal. I continued on my job. I did the best that I could. I finished my last audit in my prior department. And I left feeling a little empty. The feeling was more of, after that dream job, after doing all of that work, um, where do I go? Uh, the So to talk a little bit about that job and why it was a dream job, I think my team put together a few photos of my prior life to give a little visualization of me prior to 2020. If you've just met me in the past few years, I am a completely different person. I was actually, in 2018, I was 284 pounds. I was almost 100 pounds heavier than I was today. I was following a career path, um, a story that I was taught was the dream. I think in many kids' lives, we're told that a high-paying corporate job, a stable uh, career path, that's what you all look for. But I got what I wanted in that career. I'm not going to say that it wasn't fun. It was the best 8 years from graduating high school, from graduating college. I got into SGV, worked there for a year as an external auditor, met many people as I love to do. Moved into Shell, got 4 5 different roles, and traveled the world. Can you imagine at 28, 29, I had the opportunity to visit different Shell sites across the globe and understand what is it they did. Get to ask them critical questions of their business. Get them to explain to me what their day-to-day life looks like. And across the different years, I got to travel to exotic locations. The Philippines is very exotic, but in the course of my travel in Shell, I got to go to the Netherlands, the UK, the US, Poland, Germany. Um, but apart from that, I was also lucky enough to be sent to Pakistan, to Iraq, to Nigeria, to Vietnam, to Egypt. Yeah, history to share with me. I think what got triggered at that point in me was, there is no one way to do things. There is no one process or story that is right, because each location had its own varied customs, cultures, um, practices, even respect, honor, um, responsibility, hard work. all of these terms that I think are ingrained in each and every one of us had their own meaning and description per location. And it was up to me to understand if mine jived with theirs, if it was different. It made me ask the question, am I able to then decide what is important and valuable to me? Um, that was a critical change point in my life because it made me also think about where I was and did I like where I was. I think at that point, the most critical item on my change list was my weight. I think it contributed a lot to my confidence. It contributed a lot to my showing up and showing um, myself off to other people. If you knew me at the time, you will say, "Yeah, Mick, you already had such a big personality as you do now." And I think that's very true. But I was hiding. I was most definitely hiding behind this. Oh, I'm fat. Oh, I don't really care what people think how I look. But at that point, the one who was criticizing me most was myself. So you see all these beautifully built human beings. I'm not gonna say I wasn't, but it's different. You don't understand how different or how difficult it is to be that weight until you've experienced it. That you go into stores not knowing whether you can even purchase something. You dread going shopping because your size is not there. You meet people and they look you up and down and kind of look at you and say, what did he do? Why isn't he taking care of himself? There's always that subtext to some extent that you have to disprove. And that was my main challenge at that point. And because of me seeing process improvement, um, risk analysis, change management, and I started to read self-help books at the time. I think the first one that I read, thank you Tom Kunz for introducing me to the world of um, uh, personal development, was Dark Side of the Light Chaser. I forget the title, the name of the author, but it talks about how in each and every one of us there is a light and dark side, and how all our goal is to find and be our light, but at the same time own, respect, and reclaim our shadow self. It was my first time to hear that um, certain descriptions of me was not a negative. So to say that you're demanding or your very strong personality, a lot of these terms which rub people the wrong way can be mis what is it? It can be defined as negative. But one of the things that I learned in that book was, imagine yourself as a giant castle with an infinite number of rooms. And over time, our culture will treat us well for certain behaviors and uh, tell us to hide away certain behaviors. Angry, sad, depressed, challenging, too much, noisy, uh, disruptive. All of those things that could cause some waves are usually like the broom closet, the laundry room, the the rec room where all the toys are and everything's a mess. We're taught, don't show those things to the public. Don't bring that to the forefront. Just show your ballroom, your bedroom, your salon, your lounge, your beautiful kitchen. But what happens to all the other rooms, all the other descriptions of you? Do they just hide away until your beautiful castle turns into this tiny shack at the forefront? Yes, beautiful rooms, but not in its full glory. You see this beautiful castle from outside, but only allow for the well-kept, curated rooms to be shown to the public. And that was earth-shattering to me, that I could claim my bossiness. I could claim um, my being very ambitious, even wanting for myself better and fighting for it. Because I'm talking to many Filipinos out there, I hope. And we know that we're taught in some way to hide or not show up or not show too much and just say sorry. I even was taught in audit, make stop apologizing for yourself. You didn't do anything wrong, but because we don't want to take up space, because we don't want to disrupt other people, we'd much rather apologize for things that we know we need and do for ourselves. So that went on for a tangent, but I think talking about my background for where I was is critical to this story because it taught me that change was and is possible. Who I am and choose to be today can be completely different in the future, and that's all right. You learn along the way, you figure out what works, what doesn't, what is you, what isn't you, what is taught for you to like versus what you actually like. And you can choose. You have the power and you are empowered to choose who you want to be every day. And that was a very scary time because it at the same time of it being freeing, it also makes you question whether how you were presenting yourself to the world was actually you. And over the 3-4 years of self-development and self-improvement, I was lucky enough to be surrounded by people who encouraged me to grow, who encouraged me to find my voice, who encouraged me to take on responsibilities that I had not before. So I will shout out to my friends and family in Shell, most especially those in the audit department who challenged me, who gave me the space to develop and grow. One person I will name out loud is Etienne Ulrich. So Etienne was my... Ha. I told you that this is live, so I told you there could be some tears along the way. Etienne was my friend, mentor, and boss in my last few years in Shell. He took me into the audit department as a very, very optimistic, wide-eyed young man and groomed me to be the leader that I think that I am today. He challenged me very, very much. One of our agreements as I was going through audit is send me to places that other people don't want to go to. So that's where I got to Nigeria, Egypt, all these places. But more than anything, he was there to guide me. He would give me clear, concise feedback. He would coach me, challenge me, hold my hand along the way, but also let go when I needed to. He was the one who gave me the opportunity to run my very first internal audit by myself after 5 months in the job without any leadership of... I had done the training already, but it was an odd audit, odd hours, odd timeline. And he gave it to me with full trust that I could do something with it. And I think that's very vital and important to anybody's growth journey, is to find that mentor, that person who can impact your life, who can remind you that you have capacity. Yes, you're good, but at the same time, you could be better. And hold your hand and coach you and guide you along the way. I've had many mentors within Shell, so Peter Denyer, Tom Kunz, Lee Sin Tan, and all of these people guided me. But Etienne, of all people, though distant from me because I was based in Manila and he was in the Netherlands, he always gave time to check up, and ensure that I was okay. There was a time I even got sick in Australia. I hadn't mentioned to him because I was worried that they would get angry that I wasn't on audit and I got sick. And he reminded me, Mick, your safety is the most important thing. He reminded me that no matter what's going on, just let him know and he'll help. And those are the people that I hope people find along the way in their journey, their path to where they want to be. So, a little, that was not just a little, but my background of me as a person. But one of the things that is tantamount is critical in my career was my audit life, my external audit life and accounting life, which taught me to be a critical thinker, which taught me to look at process, which taught me to understand and ask questions, which taught me to be observant, to inquire, to see patterns in everyday activities that other people will not normally see. I was trained in Shell to look for waste. TIMWOOD, if everyone knows that, TIMWOOD is a acronym that stands for the different types of waste in a process. I was CI trained, which is continuous improvement, Lean Six Sigma. I was trained in the audit process, advanced audit techniques, interviewing techniques. All of these things to make me a very what's the term? Very disruptive person in people's lives. I think some people have mentioned this, that I'm the guy who will ask questions so much so that you'll get annoyed already because I'm asking you questions that you would normally just have with yourself. I think Kat's mentioned this on my birthday. So it's always been my goal and my agenda to help also other people, to show people that change is possible. My proudest moments were when people said, Mick, I started my own change journey because I saw yours. And I think at some point in Shell, I felt like I had reached what I wanted to reach. And this new call to heroism by The Dream gave me the goosebumps and made me check in with myself on, is this the dream that I want to continue going through? And over the next 3 months, October, November, December, I mulled, I reconnected with people, I discerned. And ultimately, the decision was to leave Shell. The decision was to take on this heroic task of figuring out what this dream meant. I think more than knowing where I was going, what was I going to say? Without knowing where I was going, it was more figuring out what that dream meant. What was it that called my attention to that vision so much that it kept me up at night? It kept me thinking about where I want to be in the future. All of a sudden, it felt like my imagination had woken up. What could be in that space that could cause people to sing, to dance, to come together, to enjoy? And that was the question I had in my mind. I think over the years, the past 2-3 years, anybody who's crossed my path will say, yeah, Mick, your imagination's everywhere. Try to align it, make sure that you have a plan, those types of things. But I think any dream that's worth chasing after, there's a song that always comes to mind, is if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. And this dream scared me, terrified me, really shook me in my boots to the point where it made me check in, am I worth it? Am I good enough for this? But over the time in Shell, talking to people who encouraged me so much, they were like, yeah, go for it, Mick, you can do it. But things happened and I abruptly left Shell. So this was in around, this was around 2020 March. So I left Shell with this very, very like gung-ho, like I'm gonna get the world, I'm going to chase into it, run into it, run into the light, and just achieve all my dreams. But like any story goes, whack, fall flat on my face. Within the first few months, I was getting depressed. I was doubting what was going on. I tried to get help. I was hiring people and doing all sorts of like experiments, because all of a sudden I was brand new at everything again. That may sound exciting, but after a few months of nothing coming into reality, and the feeling not really matching what I thought, it gives you doubt. It makes you think, why give me this if it's not gonna happen immediately? And that's where the whole struggle started. Um, After crossing the threshold of unemployment, I thought I knew what I needed to know. I thought I was ready. I thought I was capable of just running into the sun and not burning. But as the story says with Icarus, is fly too close to the sun with unprepared, and your wings will fall off. They'll melt and they'll fall off. And that was my feeling, is that from this high point, I was crashing, I was burning, I was stumbling over and over and over again. And it didn't make sense. It didn't compute that I was given a dream. I was given the opportunity to look into this dream and see where it went, but not see the results after doing such a big, courageous thing like leaving a corporate job, which was comfortable, which paid a good salary, and made people around me happy, made them happy for me, but also proud of me for what I achieved. So what happened in the 2 years until now? Let's move a little bit into that story. So it was the pandemic, and I think one of the biggest challenges was my own close circle, my family and my friends. I was going through an extremely fast and abrupt change, which was already very uncomfortable for me, to myself, but I didn't realize how it was also very disruptive to the people around me. I didn't realize how me changing up the rules, the roles, the expectations would cause a lot of grief, a lot of pain, and a lot of crying, a lot of loneliness. Because how can you now manifest to the world if what you're manifesting is not what people are used to, what people are expecting from you? And that's 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 something I did not expect. I thought me going for what I wanted would make people happy, make people excited as I am. But it caused like a ripping of an image that people wanted to keep, if I were to put it in a very simple way. But I think that was the biggest sacrifice that I was not expecting, was the question, are you still willing to go through this in spite of the potential of losing people, losing relationships, changing parameters of friendships, reestablishing who you are in the world? All of that was unexpected and bombarded me over the next few months. There were days that I couldn't even get out of bed because I didn't know what next step to take, what was left, what was right, what was good. When you're working in a corporate job, everything's laid out for you: systems, processes, success measures, what you're supposed to be submitting on a day-to-day basis, deadlines. But now that you're self-employed, you're the one who tells you what good is, what success is, and that messed with my brain, because did I know what good was? Did I actually understand what good measurement of my self is? Which again, terrifying, scary, nightmarish, because I was hearing from different areas, oh, do this, try this, listen to this, work on this, focus on this. This is what success is. And I was um, frantically trying to piece together an image that I would be comfortable with. It took time. It took help. It took much discernment. But at the end of the day, one of the lines from Oprah Winfrey that I think made the most sense was, the biggest goal in life is to find your highest, truest, and best self and figure out how to manifest that to the world. That was the challenge that I was hearing, that there is no right or wrong. There is no real this is the cookie cutter good, but your truest best self. And I was discovering that I had to figure that out. And to anyone brave enough, to anyone um willing to take on the challenge, I think it's so worth it. It's not easy. It's not walk in the park. There are good days. There are bad days. There are awful days. There are earth-shattering days. But if you go through the process, if you allow yourself to give in, surrender to the calling, you will find pieces of yourself that you may have felt that you dropped along the way. And that was very much the inspiration for Maps. That because I was able to restructure my view of myself, how many people out there could potentially be suffering from the same pains that I didn't even know was a pain? That do I really know who I am, what I want, and how I want to show up to the world? I never even knew that I could ask that question. And over time, I asked, could I in some way inspire other people to ask that question too? That in spite of a good life, in spite of receiving and getting everything that you would hope to achieve, that there still is something that you can grow into. And over the pandemic, over the 1 year and a half after leaving Shell, I tried many things like any entrepreneur would do. I started small businesses. I did baking. I did pandemic baking. I tried a home business. I tried a little bit of consultancy here and there with friends, coaching, mentorship, which all just kind of fell flat, which all were like announcements with nothing to follow. It just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel like the right time. And that's okay. You'll figure it out. Until early this year in 2022, there was uh, turning point. A turning point in everything where it was a series of fortunate events which led me to the community of Kakampings. I will always be thankful for the chance to have served in the elections in through the means that I knew best, which was put together a solution, figure out your inputs, figure out your capabilities, and deliver a product that will bring high impact, high volume, and high engagement. And what we did during the elections, I might make some people cry, was to put together a song which was written and sung by Nika Del Rosario. I think all the Kakampings know what it is. It's Rosas. What we did differently was, because I come from the background of church choir, is I got Bukas Palad members and also Bukas Palad to record a quartet version that would be promoted and marketed to other people to sing where they were. And we did a flash mob in Eastwood the first time. We sent out the pieces Sunday saying, oh, we'll do a flash mob on Wednesday because it's Wednesdays we wear pink. And magic happened. The magic that I'd always wanted and was looking for. People were singing. People were dancing. People were cheering. It felt like I was in the middle of the vision that I had seen. People were happy. People were proud. And before I start drowning in tears, I'd like to actually show you that video. My team, surprisingly, in Maps, my team in Maps was formed during that elections. I met them there. We filmed this video. This is the Tinig Tumitindig version of Rosas, which I hope you all enjoy and bring back some very, very happy and proud memories of our time during the elections, which was a good fight. I understand it was a sad ending, but looking back at what we were able to do, what we were able to accomplish, it still brings a smile to my face, even tears, to see this put together. So, without further ado, a little bit of not the music video of Rosas, Tinig Tumitindig version.
Hindi tayo naiiba at sana'y
That song, that music video, I still repeat until today because it makes me so proud to see friends who have come together to produce something um, not just beautiful but also relevant. Uh, it was a suntok sa buwan. It was really a challenge to get that published because there were licensing requirements. There were other things that I think were blockers to get it done. People were even telling me, Mick, it's only 1 month left and you're going to do something like this. But that sparked Tinig Tumitindig, a group of in Facebook that garnered thousands of likes within the span of 1 month. Because of our flash mob, we got tens of millions of views, overestimation, tens of millions of views of the flash mob. And this was an organic publishing of a music piece because we asked people to just record themselves on their cell phones. We didn't have a plan. We didn't even have a permit. We did it in Eastwood. I got a word. I actually was approached by a guard at the end saying, I will lose my job if you continue doing what you're doing. So we stopped. I had a panic attack after because it was just so terrifying. But it all was worth it. We sang several other flash mobs after. We did one in Nepa Q Mart. We did one in Kamuning Market. We actually even did a caravan where we hired a van with a sound system, and around 20 different singers from different backgrounds joined us, went around Metro Manila to be with the people that we were actually singing for. If you listen to the lyrics of the video, hindi ko maipapangako ang kulay rosas, pero habang kaya ko pa, habang may lakas, gagawin ko to. Gagawin ko yung kaya ko. And that's a very strong thrust of Maps, that we're here to make an impact through production, through music, through different means, that not for one candidate, but for the people of our country. I know it sounds very ostentatious to say something like that, but I saw magic working through those few months. We did flash mobs, we did caravan, we did a concert. The first concert for many people. We had the UST singers. We had the UE singers. We had Hangad, Bukas Palad. We had soloists. We had people coming in from different places who said yes to this call. The one that made the biggest impact to me was on the Makati rally. We were downstairs and I was receiving videos of people in Ilocos. Can you imagine? Ilocos. It was a rough election. It was a very painful election that people were fighting for their beliefs, fighting for their side of history. And yes, we did our best. And I know it might be sad what the results were, but I look back. We're going to cue another video, which is a summary of Tinig Tumitindig in essence. But it was the proof to me that there is an energy that needs to be tapped into, an energy that is there and available for reaping. That is the creative energy of the Filipinos. Talent, singing, dancing, producing, all of these things put together created the magic sauce, which was Tinig Tumitindig. And we'll share to you just a montage. It will use the Rosas Tinig Tumitindig grand choir version, which was 200 plus singers in one track. Cue the video.
Pilipino may pusong sagutin ang tugon.
Pilipino may tapang na muling bumangon.
Pilipinong buo ang paninindigan. Alam ang tama at totoo. Samahan mo ako. Aking tito ay papangako ang kulay rosas. Para sa'yo at hindi
that was the Tinig Tumitindig video. It flashed so many happy memories for me. It's reminding me of a time where we took a pink van to Bulacan. To Cavite. Tama ba? Cavite for the rally. And because we had a large van and the stadium was in a more secluded area, we allowed people to come on the bus, this what 45-seater van, and we brought them along with us, and we were just singing, enjoying each other's company, strangers on a bus, all working towards the same thing. We were singing religious songs. I remember we even had one Muslim lady with us, and I asked her if it was okay that we were singing Catholic songs, and her response was, "Oh, keep singing. It's beautiful." So you could see people of different genders, different identities, different backgrounds coming together for one purpose, which was a belief in a Philippines that is worth fighting for. I think more than anything, Mama Lenny inspired people to take their place in history as people who fought, not as angry people, not as prejudicial people, but people who had something to work towards. And that was the spirit of the entire election. And as history would prove, it has brought about many, many positive things. It was a sad result, but I met many new friends. I was inspired to start new things. I started a group that is here today, which is Maps, which the goal is to replicate, reinvigorate, restart the energy that we had at that time, which was creative power used to engage. And every day in the Maps team, we're continuing to figure that out. Okay, as I said, this was just raw, uninterrupted, at some points very lengthy explanation of where we came from. And that was our intention, to just give a bit of background, to give a little bit more meat to Maps. Meet the Maps, I like that. But with that being said, we will end here. But the next few days are going to be more lives in different formats. So tomorrow you can expect us to introduce Maps a little bit better. Maps today, meaning what we have, who we are, what we're capable of, what we've built so far. The studio, this is one of my favorite things in the world. This place, this room, where magic continues to happen. The next 2 days will be a presentation of who we are as a team, but also the things we've built, we've put together and curated, things from far away that on a rainy day it'll make you smile. That's a teaser for a video you're going to see soon. But I'm excited to just continue introducing Maps to you. I think one of the things I learned over time is you never come out just once. You continue to come out because people don't know who you are. People don't understand your story. And that's what we will continue to do. Continue to come out in different ways. Show ourselves off in through different lenses. Through different modes of communication in social media and whatnot. With that being said, please follow, like, subscribe our videos on our different social media platforms. We're going to flash that over. Where are our social media? Oh, there. So Facebook and YouTube is Maps Holdings. Our Instagram is Maps Holdings01. So again, our Facebook and YouTube page is Maps Holdings with an S. And then our Instagram is Maps Holdings01. Please follow us. It would mean a lot to us for you to follow, like, and share. I think our message for everything that we do is we're here. We're a little bit crazy. We're a little bit off-putting at times, but hopefully it inspires you to do the same. That you find your crazy, you find your drum beat, and you follow it. Right here is a QR code for our lives. So this will lead you to the different lives that we'll be doing over the next few days. I will see. Please comment if the 6 o'clock time slot is good or we should move to 12. But we will be sending invites. The big one is on Friday. So on Friday, we will be doing a more formal launch of maps and introduce what we can do. What's in it for you? So we'll be doing background stuff today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and then it's more about you on Friday. Thank you. That was a long video. I can go on and on and on. I think all my friends who know me, I can be on the phone with them and I'll just be talking. Like, if you're willing to listen, I will talk. Let's try something. If anyone's still watching live, first ever comment question. Maybe there's a question out there that you'd like to ask, and I will try my very best to answer it. Val, thank you for commenting. Erica, Josh, Judith, I can see your comments. We now have a program monitor in front of me so I can see myself. So apologies if my eyes go this way. I'm not used to having a large screen just directed towards me that I can look at how I'm presenting. It's a little bit surreal. It's terrifying, but at the end of the day, what it hasn't been over the past few months, and it's just been a roller coaster of a ride, but it's been all worth it. So, any questions? I should have asked this earlier so that people aren't rushing to type something in. Anybody? If you have a question, comment, feedback, suggestion, whatever. Could even be from my team outside. I know they're it's a little bit cheating, but maybe something they'd like me to focus on or just give a few words on. Josh is typing, I can hear. Yeah. So we're every day we're trying new things. Even the format of how we're presenting, the look of the studio, how we're using the cameras, the format. So Val says, "Congrats, Maps teams. You're radiant." Thank you, Val. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Radiant meaning ray of light. So I'm glad that we bring some light and love to the world, and that's a goal. That's always the goal, to manifest yourself as your best and fullest self. So Erica said, "What should we expect from Maps in the coming year?" We have a saying here in Maps that the thing to expect with Maps is the unexpected. But that's a bit of a cliche. So I will say, just expect continuous plot twists. If you think we're going left, we will go right. If you think we're going up, we'll go underground. So because we're trying new things, we're exploring new things. What we hope to deliver in the coming year is continued innovation, creativity, and magic. Things that are unexplained by science is magic. And a lot of the things that I've been experiencing over the past 2 years, to me, is magic. And I just want to continue sharing that magic with all of you. Thank you, Erica, for the question. With that being said, I don't think I've ever done a live where it's all talk. So I will end this live. I know you've listened to this song 3 times. This is going to be the 3rd. But this is my rendition of Rosas. This is written by Nika Del Rosario and performed by her too, featuring Gab Pangilinan. Huwag kang mabahala, ikaw ay mahalaga, hindi kita pababayaan. Hindi tayo naiiba at sana'y paniwalaan na pipiliin ka araw-araw. At alam ko ang aking kaya, alam ko ang hindi, alam ko ang kailangan upang makapagsilbi. Hanggat may kabutihan, hanggat may pag-ibig, liwanag ang mananaig. At hindi ko maipapangako ang kulay rosas na mundo para sa'yo, at hindi ko maiilawan ang lahat ng anino. Pero sisikapin ko at hindi ako magpapahinga hanggat hindi mo pa magawang muling ipagmalaki na ika'y isang Pilipino. Huwag kang matatakot, may kasangga ka sa laban na ito. Sabay natin kisingin ang nasyon. At alam ko ang aking kaya, alam ko ang hindi, alam ko ang kailangan upang makapagsilbi. Hanggat may kabutihan, hanggat may pag-ibig, liwanag ang mananaig. At hindi ko maipapangako ang kulay rosas na mundo para sa'yo, at hindi ko maiilawan ang lahat ng anino. Pero sisikapin ko at hindi ako magpapahinga hanggat hindi mo pa magawang muling ipagmalaki na ika'y isang Pilipino. May pusong sagutin ang tugon, Pilipinong may tapang na muling bumangon, Pilipinong buo ang paninindigan, alam ang tama at totoo. Samahan mo ako. At hindi ko maipapangako ang kulay rosas na mundo para sa'yo, at hindi ko may ilawan ang lahat ng anino. Pero sisikapin ko at hindi ako magpapahinga hanggat hindi mo pa magawang muling ipagmalaki na ika'y isang matatag at matapang at mabuti at mapagmahal na Pilipino. 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 Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.